Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to talk about building citizen data scientist ramp-up journey we've been working with at OP Financial Group. My name is Antti Myllymäki, and last 20 years I've been mostly building and managing organizations focusing to major scale information management and advanced analytics. I've done a lot of work with high-tech manufacturing companies, financial services, as well as gaming companies. And I lead AI Center of Excellence at OP Financial Group, and I'm based in Helsinki. At Center of Excellence, we both identify the new use cases for AI opportunities, and we make them happen with the development work. Now, the citizen data scientist is relatively new term, and three things helps to understand that in the corporate. And I'm going to talk you through of the background, our AI transformation journey from the past 4 years, our needs towards the citizen data scientist concept, and obviously our approach and best practices related to that. Now, all the topics I'm going to cover today are first-hand experience only, so let's start with our journey. So when starting the AI journey, there are 5 key things we had to consider to get things rolling. First one is the approach. We chose to start with the use cases, and because we felt that creating an AI strategy with no first-hand experiences of AI use cases wouldn't have made too much sense for us. Some might say that you should have a clear goal so you know where you are going with when starting this kind of AI journey, but for OP, having a 6 to 9 months visibility to the use cases was just enough. Second thing is the funding. Now, the challenge here is that in many cases, the value logic for AI is very clear. If you understand customers better, you will be able to sell them more and develop better products and services. That's clear. But how much more will you sell? That's very hard to quantify. And that's why we chose to fund the project and AI POCs for the first 2 years from the project. We went pretty big scale and invested almost 10 million euros both in 2017 and 2018. And by the late 2017, we had some 30 use cases under our belt, and by the end of 2018, 40 more. And I think that we wouldn't have been able to do this without businesses not investing their own money to the AI POCs. Third one is obviously the data. You have to define the roles for data scientists, data engineers, and developers. And hiring full stack data scientists who can do the ETLs and API programming by themselves might seem like a tempting thing, but as banks typically have hundreds of data warehouses and hundreds of data sources, this approach typically leads to the very point-to-point specific use cases with no common data platform and data thinking. And that's why for us it was good choice to kind of separate the roles between data engineer, developer for the APIs, and data scientist concentrating on the model. Fourth one was the delivery capability. This is more like a chicken and egg problem. How to start the AI journey if you have no data scientist? On the other hand, how you are able to hire data scientists if you have no use cases for them to work with? And using consultants to complement our internal capability was very good choice for us for the first 18 months or so during the journey. And then as the fifth element, last tools and technologies, cloud, multi-cloud, on-prem, or a combination of that. And we chose to use multi-cloud. We started to do development to AWS, Azure, IBM Watson for chatbots, and then on-prem SAS. And we did that for 2017, but soon realized that we can do the development, but maintaining 4 different environments is a big challenge for us. And as a result of that thinking, we decided to concentrate on the AWS. And I'd say that 95% of the development we've done during the past 2 years have been done to the AWS. Now, the results were very interesting. Our hypothesis was that big data and AI value is mostly about sell-side use cases and R&D, and we were positively surprised by the impact on the operational efficiency. So far, on the cumulative savings, we realized some 27 million euros of the operational efficiency, and chatbots alone are saving us like 3.5 million euros this year only. We ended the project phase late 2007, and I think it was the last minute to do that because AI is about supporting business, not just to do AI, just to do AI. And we currently operate as a center of excellence, and we are both responsible for tactic and strategic timeframes. It means that we identify the use cases, we make them happen with the development, but we also kind of steer and own the AI vision and strategy for the. Now, it's crucial to understand what you are seeking from the citizen data scientist concept. And for different companies, it means very different things. A year ago, we updated our AI vision, and as a part of that, we set the goal of tripling the impact and benefits created by AI in the next 2 years. And to make an impact of this magnitude, it requires a lot. And during the last 3 years, we've been training some 1,000 business people to better understand AI use cases and identify them. Then there are data scientists working in most of the business tribes already across the group. So our capability to identify impactful AI opportunities, it's not a huge challenge. So for those, we kept our existing approach and training method. But we realized that for us, it's a question of tripling and getting 3 times things done. And it's very hard to achieve that by continuing the same data science capability building method as we have been using for the past 4 years. And we thought about the typical roles working with the data, and pretty soon realized that we really needed to get the right people involved to make a bigger crowd to achieve our goal. So instead of hiring just full-time data scientists more and more, we nowadays aim to get everybody who investigates the data at OP to be the part of the data science community. And this includes data-oriented roles, both from the business and the technology, roles like business controllers, BI developers, solution analysts, and all those. Based on our experience, enabling citizen data scientists within the business tribes builds on 3 competencies. You don't become citizen data scientist using Excel, so you really need tools to create a business impact. 4 years ago, when we started the AI journey, it would have been impossible to work on the commercial tools, especially on the clouds. And because of that, we built our own data scientist workspace solution, mostly using AWS components. It's command line based, some serious Python skills, and as such, we realized that it's not something for non-developers and not full-time data scientists. And we realized that it's way too technical for most citizen data scientist candidates, and we started to evaluate the commercial options late last year. Our key selection criteria were the ramp-up time that typical analyst would require to onboard to the solution, and obviously the pilot user feedback. And we chose the Databricks, and we've been using that for the past 6 months now. And we've also noticed that several full-time data scientists nowadays are using Databricks to do their development work. So data scientists kind of eat the same dog food as everybody else. However, I have discussed about the tools a lot with other companies as well, and it's a very company-specific thing. Databricks for sure isn't point-and-click type of solution, so it might be not for you, but it's for our needs, it's a good match. Then about the data access. you really need to document what kind of data is available and where to find more information. This is a major challenge at OP because we have some 200 data warehouses and over 700 operative systems. And key challenge is that our information management capabilities are primarily to support major scale regulative projects, concentrating typically on finance and risk management. But instead, based on our experience, users for citizen data scientists, they adapt to the data access at 3 steps. They first upload their favorite Excels, and they try to replicate the actions they are doing with that anyway. And they might push the results to the Power BI downstream system. If it works, the second step is for them is to connect to their favorite data sources. And if that works as well, then they typically want to connect to the customer data. So whatever tool you end up choosing and using, make sure you have the connectivity to the most important data warehouses and source systems that are likely have the data that citizen data scientist needs. You can also expect that the customer segmentation, sales and marketing oriented use cases are probably among the first one that the people will try. Obviously demand regarding your industry, but that's at least on B2C segments. And we've seen that the data catalogs here are key to the success because we really have to have documentation to provide to the citizen data scientist to prevent all of them asking the same data questions from individual system owners about their data. That kind of support model simply doesn't work. You cannot support 100, 150 citizen data scientist people with individual owners. And then to the third topic, which is data science understanding. It's crucial to have a common way of working with advanced analytics. Including use case evaluations, use case roundtable discussions with security and GDPR people participating, model evaluations, data bias evaluations, model templates, ethical considerations, data lineage and quality documentations, etc., etc. Because only when you have a common way of working with the citizen data scientist, you are able to ingest a new regulative actions that you need to do. And this requires a lot. I mean, understanding the very basics of data science, like nature of data, turning the data into something valuable, and also considering the data protection and privacy. Now to our approach. Citizen data science for us has 2 target audience, and you really need to address them both in your approach. Audience is obviously the citizen data scientist candidates, and the other one is the business directors and managers. To introduce the citizen data scientist concept and highlight the benefits of that approach to business directors, we organized some 6 big events during the year. And they are aimed to everybody interested in getting more out of their data. At these events, we brought up 5 or sometimes individual analysts from the business tribes doing 20-minute demos of their work. And as long as the predictive analytics or some other small data science component was there, we really didn't mind if the demos weren't, full-blown fancy machine learning type of use cases. Now, this proved to be a really good approach for 2 reasons, because first, it lowered the barrier of trying the tool among the data analysts. And secondly, it created a peer pressure among directors to try these things in their business areas. And we were seeking some 40 participants, but already on the first event, we had already over 100 participants. And that was important because we wanted to build the community and get the discussions going. And total number of the participants in the citizen data scientist events and actions during the first half was over 700. So my advice here is that don't create very scientific and fancy AI events here. Instead, bring real people and use cases. Now, demos attracted citizen data scientist candidates, but heavy lifting is done on the data science understanding. First and foremost, you really to have a low barrier to participate. And we tried to do this by providing 45-minute weekly lunch sessions, brown bag type of ones. So topics were technical in nature, with the idea that everybody can try this during the presentation already. So topics were about the tools, data access, entry-level modeling techniques, explainable AI, and they were always led by the data scientist to highlight our capability, but also to create connections between citizen data scientists and data scientists so they can ask for advice. Once again, build the community and get conversations going. Once the interest was there, we wanted to provide in-depth courses as well. And we prepared 2 different courses, each requiring some 30 hours of lecture-led or self-study time. First course is doing data work at OP, which is more business-oriented people. Lecturing type of course with some 30 participants at the time typically. Second course is hands-on type of course for Databricks, and it provides the technical capability to work with the Databricks, typically with some 15 participants at the time. Third area are the tools, and there we chose to be very solution driven. So we started from low maturity solutions and accelerators that help citizen data scientists to get started. And we improve the maturity and technical level little by little. Now, as a last thing to the KPIs, they are very simple. You want to make an impact, and to do that, you need a crowd. So KPIs for making a crowd, we use the number of people using citizen data scientist tool, number of people participating in events, number of people of citizen data scientist projects, and the people participating. And for KPIs for making a splash, they are euros. At least OP's board, they always want to understand the impact. And to meet this, we have estimated the value logic and rough impact of 10 most impactful citizen data scientist projects. So the key takeaways for our citizen data scientist ramp-up journey are: 1, understand why the citizen data science thing might be important to you. Concept is very different from company to company. Second thing is that get your message through by providing relevant relevant content to both target audiences, users and to the citizen data scientist candidates. Build the community and get the conversations going. You really need to have at least 1 session every week to get the discussion going. And the fourth thing is to articulate the impact and of the work, and always have at least 1 strong operational efficiency project in your citizen data scientist portfolio. Thanks a lot. Then to the questions. Any new comments? All right. No questions or comments this time. So thanks a lot for listening, and have a great rest of the day.